Hello students, I am Jenny. Today we are going to start our third session, Introduction to Web Programming and Cloud Computing. I'm really excited to start this session with you all. Today, we are going to learn the basics of web programming. There we are going to discuss what it means to web programming, and then we will be looking at especially front-end programming. What are the technologies that you need to be aware of so that you can build amazing applications front-end programming? Then we'll be discussing what cloud computing is. Very new and trending topic. I hope some of you may have already heard about the cloud computing term. We are going to discuss this term. We will be discussing what cloud computing means, and we'll also be discussing what the types of cloud computing are. We will be covering an introduction to different kinds of cloud computing services. What is web programming? If you can revise our learnings from the previous session, you already know what front-end and back-end mean. We need a client-side or a front-end with the user interface that most users are dealing with. To have a very good front-end, we need a kind of server-side programming, a back-end also to facilitate its services and storing files likewise. When it comes to web programming, actually you need to code software, you need to design programs to run in both of these aspects. You need to write programs for the front end, and also you need programs to run in your server side. Simply we can identify both the front end and back end as two separate entities, and you need to propose or you need the right code so that you can design full stack web applications. In this course module, we're going to discuss only client-side programming. So under web programming, we discussed aspects of front-end programming and back-end programming. Now we are focusing only on front-end programming as a web designer. First, you need to be familiar well with front-end programming. In your next video series, you will be learning back-end programming as well. Okay, students, what is client-side programming? Client-side programming simply means you are designing front-end applications, the design of the website, the look and feel. Maybe you'll be adding website buttons, maybe website input fields, maybe you are adding beautiful colors, pictures, movies, multimedia elements. So everything belongs into front-end programming or front-end design. There are three main languages you need to be familiar with if you want to become a very good front-end programmer. What are they? You need to know HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript. If I repeat again, you need to know HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript. These three languages are very much important, and these are the fundamentals of front-end programming. I know you are very excited to learn about these technologies in the upcoming videos. You're going to learn each of these technologies from the beginning. We discussed what web programming is, and then we discussed what front-end programming is. Today, I like to introduce the term cloud computing to you. Cloud computing, also we can describe as the on-demand delivery of IT resources or services. So cloud computing, or this on-demand delivery of its resources or services, happens through the internet. That's an important thing here. Cloud computing is always tightly coupled with the internet. Cloud computing means over the internet. Over the internet, we can deliver some IT resources and services, and also cloud computing can offer as pay-you-go kind of pricing model. If you look at most of the websites nowadays, most of the commercial websites, these websites perform as cloud computing-based services. Even social media, even any kind of entertainment platform, all of these platforms, commercial platforms, all function as cloud computing services. Because of cloud computing, as users, we don't need to buy the entire service at once. We can simply connect or access these cloud computing services through the internet, and if there's a need to make the payment, we can pay only for what we're looking for. We don't need to purchase the entire service or the product over the internet. We can pay as we need. There are three types of cloud services, but remember there can be more cloud services coming up in the future. But these three are the most popular service categories that we can identify. A first thing is software as a service. Then platform as a service. Then we have infrastructure as a service. These three services have its own characteristics. Let's see one by one and try to identify the cloud service types and their characteristics of these three. The first one is software as a service. We can call this on-demand software. SaaS applications are delivering the services of the software as through the internet, simple as that they are delivering the services of different software through the internet. For example, if you take Google Maps is a cloud-based service. It says software as a service. The software is Maps software, allows different maps, routing, navigation. There are lots of features. This is software, but the software is designed to function in a cloud environment. You don't need to install this software Google Maps on your computer. You just need the internet, so you connect to the internet and you connect to this website Google Maps. Then you can enjoy Google Maps features. And also, I can name many examples. Zoom or Google Drive, your Gmail client, and Google Calendar. There is a lot of software that we can identify as software as a service in the cloud computing domain. One interesting fact, students, software as a service is the most demanding and trending cloud computing category that we can observe today. Most of commercial software are delivered as SaaS products. Next, the platform as a service. This is mostly for developers. As developers and programmers, you can enjoy different web applications. Those are providing infrastructure and services through the cloud. For example, if you have heard of the Google Cloud Platform or Microsoft Azure Heroku, these are very powerful platforms. These are simply web applications, but these are serving as platforms. If you want to develop very powerful software or applications, you don't need a very powerful computer. Now you can use one of these platforms and build. So it's a virtual development environment. You can set up your environment and enjoy these features. You can develop, test, run, and manage your applications on top of these platforms. Then, infrastructure as service. These are also websites and applications. These web applications allow developers to utilize some hardware resources on the cloud. For example, you know what it means why your server, aren't you? Servers are hardware devices that we use to store data content for web applications. If you are enjoying facilities provided by infrastructures as a service kind of application, you don't need to maintain physical devices. If you have access to an infrastructure as a service kind of platform, there you can set up virtual services. One of the best examples is the DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean provides you to set up virtual services. You are not maintaining a physical server. You can set up a virtual server and you can log into that server and you can put all the website content there and you can host a web application there. It's a very interesting approach to infrastructure as a service. You can enjoy it through the cloud if you're using an infrastructure as a service kind of application. So there are very powerful platforms and applications for this. Pulumi is another one. Pulumi allows you to set up very high-performance development environments as a cloud service. It's a very modern and latest one for cloud computing services. You will be learning more about these in the coming up videos. For the moment, remember you learnt software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Why should someone use cloud computing? Because there are a lot of advantages. One is cloud computing allows you to collaborate more. You can access cloud computing from anywhere. You just need the internet. You can access it even with your mobile phone. You can access it on a computer or tablet, and also multiple people can connect to the same website and work together. I'll give an example. Have you used Google Documents? If you have used Google Documents, you know it allows you to collaborate together. If you are using just standalone Microsoft Word, it's not possible. Not many people can edit one single document at the same time, but if you're using Google Documents, you can work together on the same paper. Then cloud computing allows excellent accessibility. This means you can access it from anywhere at any time, and you don't need to maintain these servers or any infrastructure. You don't need to worry about the maintenance. And cloud computing is usable while on the move. You can even use cloud services even while you're traveling. I told you that you can use pay-as-you-go kind of a model with cloud computing, which means you don't need to purchase the entire software as one single unit paying a considerable upfront cost, but you can maybe go ahead with a monthly payment plan for some websites. Financially, it's more beneficial. Another advantage is unlimited storage. For example, if you are using local software, you have limited hard drive space in your computer. But if you're using cloud services, you don't need to worry too much about storage. You can increase the storage. If you want more storage, then, of course, you have to pay, but still, it's unlimited. It's another advantage of data security. You don't need to worry about coming viruses into the computer and maybe corrupting your files. Don't worry if you're enjoying cloud computing for this. Of course, there are other security risks related to the internet. Maybe party hackers can attack these websites and breach these data. That's a different topic, but when it comes to data security, in local computers, these local data can be exposed to hackers, or even these data can be deleted if you get any viruses or malicious software. But if you're consuming cloud services, you don't need to worry too much about data security. But this is debatable. Some people argue cloud computing is much riskier when it comes to data security. I would like to highlight to you that there are both aspects. Advantages and disadvantages. Then backup and restoring is another advantage. Suppose you are using your local computer to do all the documentation using Microsoft Word, but sometimes maybe your computer maybe get damaged, or it can be lost, or even maybe due to a technical issue, the hard disk gets corrupted. Then you can't access your data. You lost all this data. But if you're using a cloud service, for example, Google Documents, it's always the backups are there. You don't need to worry about losing your data. There are backups, so you can easily restore them. You can gain your data back. So it's another advantage of cloud computing. Alright, today we discussed a very important set of topics, especially we got an introduction to web programming. There we discussed front-end programming and back-end programming, and we focused more on front-end programming. There I introduced to you HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then we discussed the basics of cloud computing and 3 main types of cloud computing services. Then we discussed some of the advantages, but I encourage you to read further. Check the description panel for more detailed information about those. Next, we're going to discuss how to set up your computer to develop web applications, especially front-end web designing. See you in the next video.